Hello guys, welcome to another video here on remote code execution, and in this video I'm going to be showing how we can take advantage of a remote code execution using Metasploitable 2. It's open here, and so without further ado, I'm going to jump right into my Kali here. I would like to scan ARP scan ARP-scan-L to list the IPs that are available here. So I can see that this is the IP of my Metasploitable 2 here, and to confirm this I go over to my browser here and paste that. It's already on port 80. If you don't know how we got to that part, it's basically just using Nmap. Let's see, if you type Nmap -p-80sv, if you hit that, you'll be able to see that we have a port 80 open on this IP address, which is actually the vulnerable machine on Metasploitable 2, okay, which is this. Alright, so back here we just hit enter and it's going to get us here. We're interested in the then vulnerable web application, which is DVWA, so I can just hit enter here. Okay, it takes you right here. So if you scroll down here, you would see that the default username is admin and the password is password. So we're going to hit admin and password, hit enter and login. So we're here. Welcome to the then vulnerable web app. There's a lot of vulnerability to be tested or that we can practice here. The last video we treated uploads, and this video we're going to be using we're going to be practicing command execution, which is basically remote code execution, RCE. So I'll click on remote code execution. If you scroll down, for now it said the security level is high, so what I'm going to do is click on DVWA security and I'm going to set that to low and hit submit. For this video we're going to practice with low, and yeah, so if it's set to low, we'll now come back to command execution. Now security level is low, we're under command execution. Now how does this work? Basically, if you enter an IP address here below, so let's just start with default IP address 127.0.0.1 and hit submit, and let's see what happens. So now what happens is when you enter an IP address, it automatically pings that IP address and gives you the result. Okay, now where does the vulnerability come in? The vulnerability comes in when we can take advantage of not just opening or putting an IP address, but to also to be able to run a code on this machine, and it works by using something like pipe and let's say ID, which means after running this ping, can you do this as well, which is, can you tell me the ID of the machine? If you hit submit, you see that after running 127 which is the IP address, it now gave us the data, which is like the ID of the machine, so which means it is vulnerable to a command execution. So in this case now, how do we if you do this again, and this time around, let's say you want to let's say you pwd, you want to know where you are in the machine. If you submit, it gives you exactly where you are. So without further ado, let's try to get a remote code execution here, which is more like we're trying to get a reverse shell from this. What we're going to do is I'm going to use what we call revshells, okay, .com, okay, to generate a rev shell. But in order to do that, I want to know what else is running in this machine. I can use 127.0.0.1. I want to know if there is a Python running on this machine. If I hit enter, there is a Python, okay. And then also if I can check which PHP as well, and then I'll hit enter. Okay, so we also have a PHP running in the machine. So with this, under my reverse shell if you've not used reverse shell before, this is just to is a reverse shell generator, so it can easily generate a code that you can use to get a reverse shell. In order to do this, now under here I'm going to put the IP and port. The IP and port is going to be the IP and port of my attacker machine here. So if I do if config, I'll be able to get, this is the IP of my machine here, so I'll copy that, and then over here I'm going to paste that, and then I want to use port, let's say 444. okay, it's going to be run on a netcat listener, so basically you can just copy this and open that up on your Kali, or you can just come back here. If you're using any other listener, there are different ones here, it will just generate it for you. So in this case I just want to use nc-nlvp 4444 hit. So my netcat is listening. Now what are we using? We know that Python is open. I also know that PHP is open, so let's just use PHP. Under reverse, you can see here under reverse, bind, ms venom, horse, what we're interested in generating a reverse shell. Over here we have for the OS, the operating system you're running, you can have for all, or you can select for Linux, Windows, Mac. For instance, we're using Linux, you can just select Linux and it will just see it up based on Linux, or you can just leave it on all and just give you all of them. Okay, so we're looking for PHP, so you can use PHP exec, which is execution, or you can use PHP shell underscore exec. I would like to use this one. So once you click on this, over here you're going to see the code, or the reverse shell code that is already being generated. Below here you see the shell, if you want to use sh, if you want to use beam bash, if you want to use PowerShell, and so on and so forth. And then under the encoding, if you want to use a URL encode, double URL encode, and so on, base64 and so on. So it's actually a very good website to use. So I'll just leave it on shell and the encoding none. So I'm just going to copy this php-r blah blah blah, and then once I copy that, now note that my reverse shell, my netcat is already listening. So I'll come back to the vulnerable website and then type 127.0.0.1. It's going to ping this, and after that I want it to just run the script. I just pasted it. Okay, so it's more or less so you can see exactly what I run. Okay, new here, so it basically is going to be like 127.0.0.1 pipe. You can use and or anything, then you paste this code. So this is exactly what's going to be done. So it's going to be like, after this, then PHP is going to run this code, which is going to give us a reverse shell. Okay, that being said, if I hit submit now, it should begin to rotate or just continue to cycle, which means we had a reverse shell. So I hit submit now and let's see. There we go. Over here you see it's rotating. Then if we come back to our machine here, connected. Okay, so we have a connection. If you type ID here, you can see pwd, you can see. Another thing we might want to add here or learn here is let's let's get a full TTY, right? For instance, if I type a code and let's say let me put it this way, ID, let me say if I want to go back with the back arrow, it gives me this kind of error. Okay, so in order to just get a full TTY, I'll just type Python -c, okay, and in this case I'll just type import import pty. all right, import pty, close that, and then we're going to run pty.spawn to spawn the shell, and then I'm going to, it's going to be like beam bash here. No, just put it in bracket first, pty.spawn, then it's a beam bash shell, so it's going to be beam bash, close this, all right, and then finally we'll close this with a quote. Okay, if I run this and you see we've spawned that shell. If I put ID, it's better now. So if I Ctrl C, you get it that way. Oh, I just closed it, but yeah, that's basically it. That's basically the remote code execution, and this is how we can take advantage of it by running codes basically here, and taking advantage of the machine being vulnerable to a command execution. Alright, that's that for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.